Got it.
Okay.
Elena, could you open up breakout rooms? I would like to speak to one attorney, please.
Okay. Oh, yes. Let me
Thank you.
see. Which attorney did you want to?
Mr. George.
Dylan George. Okay. Yeah. Okay, he's in room 1. It's going to be room 1.
Thank you.
And that's going to be a pre-MTR, like a compliance hearing. And I think Corey was going to have the probation office, come take care of that.
What, do you have a case number for that one?
That was on 6890, the state versus Daniel Reynaldo Gaña. They requested a pre-MTR compliance hearing, so I went ahead and set it. It's gonna be room 1.
So how can I see them?
Okay. Okay. Okay, well, there's the client right there.
So is Mr. Martinez on that docket sheet that was sent? I'm having trouble locating him, or is he just an add-on?
No, it was an add-on from a couple of days ago, Your Honor, and we have been putting it, we can get a judge to help out on the, let me give you the case number. It is 646083, and there's another one, 64880, Martinez, and both offenses are theft. Mr. Glenn Payne is the attorney of record on both cases.
What was the second cause number again?
64880.
And this indicates on the plea packet that it's out of the county court at law number 15.
I think it was mislabeled on the plea paperwork, Your Honor.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So is he pleading to both?
No, Your Honor, he's pleading to
Your
one.
Honor,
I'm sorry, who's speaking?
the state was speaking, Judge. The agreement is that he pleads to one and the other will be TIC'd.
Okay, so we're just proceeding on 646-083?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and who is the attorney for Mr. Martinez?
Glenn Payne, Your Honor.
Oh, there you go. Okay. It's much easier when you're in the courtroom, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Although there's some conveniences to doing everything on Zoom as well. All right, so let's see. Mr. Martinez? Can you?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you raise your right hand? What kind of background do you have there? It's super dark.
I don't know why it's dark. I was trying to get it right now.
Huh, must be the computer camera. Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I am looking at some documents that were sent to me that are part of your plea packet, Mr. Martinez. Gonna ask you some questions about yourself and about the documents, and then I will ask you what your plea is. If at any time I do not make myself clear and you do not understand me, will you let me know?
Yes, ma'am.
If at any time you want to stop and speak to your attorney, will you let me know?
Yes, ma'am.
You've spoken with your attorney and you went over these documents with him?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and I assume that he explained to you all the facts and circumstances and the evidence that the state had,
Yes, ma'am.
and he discussed any possible way to defend against the charges.
Yes, ma'am.
And after all of that, you decided you wanted to accept the plea bargain.
Yes, ma'am.
That was your decision alone,
Yes, ma'am.
but you did it after you consulted with your attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the services of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Think he did a good job for you?
Yes, ma'am.
No complaints.
No, ma'am.
Mr. Payne, you've spoken with your client. Do you feel that he understands the nature of the proceedings, knowingly waived his rights and wishes to go forward?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you understand that you're giving up certain rights that you have by law. You have a right to a trial by jury. I'm going to hear the case instead. Is that what you want? Mr. Martinez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You have the right to have your attorney represent you at the trial, cross-examine witnesses. You're giving up that right. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the right to remain silent. And you're giving up that right. You're basically going to admit that you committed the offense. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're indicating that you're mentally competent. So nobody's ever questioned whether or not you had any kind of disability or problem with any of your mental faculties?
No.
Okay, so you understand what you're doing?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's your wish to go forward.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you want the information read aloud?
Your Honor, we
Yes,
waive
ma'am.
reading the information.
Okay. You understand you're charged with the offense of theft, and it is a Class B misdemeanor.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty and for no other reason?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anybody threatened you or forced you or coerced you in any way into entering your plea?
No, ma'am.
You understand the range of punishment for this kind of offense is confinement in the Bexar County Jail for anywhere from 0 to 180 days and up to a $2,000 fine can be imposed. Knowing the full range of punishment, do you still wish to enter your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Understanding I don't have to accept the plea bargain, you still wish to enter your plea.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you freely and voluntarily entering your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the plea bargain?
Your Honor, that is a $0 fine with court costs, 1 day in the Bexar County Jail. Credit for time served, the time and money to run concurrently. And if it pleases the court, the judgment would be satisfied. In exchange for this plea, the state has also agreed to take into consideration cause number 648880.
What was the 6488880? Is that what you understand the plea bargain to be, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Payne?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. Is there anything you wish to say before I sentence you?
No, ma'am.
In accordance with the plea bargain agreement, the court assesses your punishment at 1 day in the Bexar County Jail, a $0 fine, court costs to be paid, credit for time served against the court costs of the time. I am being told that you have enough credit that that this will all be satisfied with the time and credit that you have. Anything further?
That's
Oh, ma'am.
for the defense.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Thank you, Honor.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Lena, I was wondering if I could get a breakout room with my inmate client to do the paperwork.
Sorry, I was muted. Did they send you the paperwork already, Mr. Hill?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll get Mr. Garces on in there.
Okay.
Okay. And Your Honor, I believe that the case on the docket that was with Mr. George Dillon, case number 638980, and that's on the first page. That's with Mr. Daniel Reynaldo Magaña, and he's present. My understanding was through Mr. Corey that this was going to be a compliance hearing, but Mr. Corey is not here, but the CLO, Mr. Kimbrough, is here. I'm not too sure if he's going to be handling that.
If Your Honor is ready to proceed, I can do it.
Okay, and where is Mr. Magana? He's not, there's no video on Mr. Magana.
Okay, so I'm,
Also muted. There he is. Okay. All right, go ahead. Mr. Magana, can you unmute yourself? We can't hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay,
All right. All right, Mr. Kimbrough, we've called the case of 638-980, Daniel Reynaldo Magaña. And it's a compliance hearing, I understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead, please.
Ma'am, Your Honor, the defendant tested positive back in November for cocaine. That was shortly after being released. He completed intensive outpatient treatment, and he completed it successfully. Then he tested positive for cocaine. The recommendation from the TAP revision was for the defendant to go to SADAF followed by aftercare. And I believe the defendant is refusing to sign the conditions, and that is where we are right now, Judge.
Mr. Magana,
yes, ma'am.
could you hear everything?
Yes,
All right, so there's a recommendation that you go inpatient, is that correct? Mr. Kimbrough, I didn't quite
Yes, ma'am.
understand. Is that SAC is what?
SADAF.
I don't live
That's
in
our
San Antonio.
San Antonio Treatment Facility, Your Honor. That's an inpatient treatment facility.
So that is the recommendation.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Magana,
is there one in Corpus Christi?
No,
are you
there's
living
not.
in Corpus Christi?
Yes, ma'am.
Was he given permission to live outside of San Antonio?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am, he
ma'am.
was.
Is there a facility in Corpus Christi that he could go to?
Not to my knowledge, Judge.
Can we look into that?
I can give those instructions to the CSO to find out, Judge.
Okay. And so should we just maybe reschedule this for next week, Aleda? To see if we can get that, or would you be able to get that information sooner than next week?
I probably would not be able to get it today. I don't know what the status of the CSO is with the weather.
Yeah,
Let
it's bad everywhere.
me see if I can get a hold of the CSO. Maybe they may be in the office.
Is Aleda there?
yes, Your Honor. Well, any day of the week, next week, the 10th would be all right. If that's okay with you, or we can give them a little bit more time for the 15th.
Would that be sufficient time, Mr. Kimbrough, to see whether or not there's a treatment facility in Corpus Christi that Mr. Magana could go to?
Yes, ma'am, that'll be sufficient time. I'll find out.
Okay, Mr. Magana, then you're going to be back here on, is it the 15th, did you say, Aleda?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that would be at 10 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Magana, did you get that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll see you on the 15th of February. Am I still covering on that day, Ms.
February 15th.
Am I still covering on that day?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
All right, then you'll see me then on that day.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Okay,
Can I log off?
yes, you can log off. Make sure you're here on the 15th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Which case do we go to next?
Okay, we do have Mr. Scott Simpkins. I don't know which prosecutor is going to be ready for that. Is the paperwork ready on that? And did you receive it already, Judge?
Who's the defendant?
Emily Rocha, Your Honor.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Your Honor, that would be case number 666. No, I'm sorry, 654402. Again, that's 650402, Emily D. Rocha, with Mr. Scott Simpkins, the attorney.
And Your Honor, I also sent that paperwork to you directly in email. That's
Okay.
an Adobe documents.
was that yesterday?
No, I sent it today.
Okay.
I shared with you yesterday, but then today, in abundance of caution, I went ahead and emailed your direct work email and included a copy of the documentation that's already been signed by Judge Saldaña.
Okay, was this on the docket for today? Because I'm not finding it. Is this an add-on?
It is an add-on, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't overlooking something. Okay, I found two documents for Miss Rocha.
That's correct, Your Honor. Because we have the plea packet as well as the amendment of the information to obstruction.
Okay. So is there a second email?
There's another document that was sent to you directly, and that's the what did you say? What was the misdemeanor plea? The plea cover sheet that Aleda asked us to send you yesterday and today.
Okay. All right, Ms. Rocha, is it Miss or Mrs.?
Miss.
Okay, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself and the documents you signed, and then we'll take your plea. If at any time I don't make myself clear, you do not understand, will you let me know?
Yes, ma'am.
If at any time you want to stop and speak to your attorney, will you let me know?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Up to what grade did you get in school?
I finished some of my core degree. I went to like a year of college.
Oh, what were you studying?
I wasn't completely sure. I started off with business management, and then I decided that I wanted to do interior design, and that was a whole different ball game. So that's kind of why I stopped.
Yeah, it's not an easy course of study. So what are you doing now? Are you working?
Yes, ma'am. I'm an assistant general manager at Fast Eddie's.
Okay.
Sorry,
And
Sarah, I didn't catch that. At where?
what? I'm sorry.
I didn't catch at where. Assistant general manager at where?
Fast Eddie's.
Okay.
So did you have an opportunity to discuss the facts and circumstances surrounding the arrest and charge and the plea bargain and all of the documents that you signed with your attorney?
Yes.
Okay. And was it, and were you clear with everything that you discussed with him? You understand what was going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the services of your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
You think he did a good job for you?
Yes, ma'am.
No complaints. Okay, and so it's your wish to go forward with the plea. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so one of the documents you signed was a consent to plea by video conference. So you understand this is all being recorded?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you're okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The other document that I'm looking at is an amended information. That's the way that the state charges you with the offenses so that you know and understand what you're charged with. Count one is operating a motor vehicle in a public place while intoxicated on or about the 13th day of November of 2020. And count two is obstructing a highway. And that was also on November the 13th, 2020. So you have agreed to the amendment of the information. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Simpkins?
We have agreed, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. And I'm sorry, but I'm having to go back. I'm going back and forth from screens. So reading documents on here. Okay. All right. So you signed a waiver agreeing to the amendment to the information and the time periods. You're waiving any time period before you respond to it. And that's what you want to do, correct, Ms. Wiltshire?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It appears that the plea bargain is community supervision for 16 months. No opposition to deferred adjudication, a $600 fine, non-probated, 60 hours of community service, alcohol education program, DIP, ATP, 8 months on Smart Start Mobile, and all the other general conditions of probation. Is that what you understand the plea bargain to be?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry. Muted myself on accident.
And that is correct, Your Honor.
And that's a Class B misdemeanor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So you understand that by signing all these documents, you are giving up certain rights that you have by law. Most importantly, you're giving up your right to remain silent. Basically, if you plead guilty, is the agreement to plead guilty or not guilt or no contest?
No contest.
No contest is correct, Your Honor.
So basically, I take that as almost as a guilty plea, but you're basically not contesting the charges. So that's the way I view it. So you are basically giving up your right to remain silent and requiring the state to prove up the case against you by bringing in witnesses. Is that what you want to do? Ms. Rocha, is that what you want to do? Give up that right?
Yes.
You're also giving up your right to have your attorney cross-examine those witnesses to test their veracity in front of a jury. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
You're giving up your right to a trial by jury. I'll hear the case instead. Is that what you want?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anybody ever questioned your mental capacity?
No, ma'am.
So it is your wish to go forward and plead guilty
Yes, ma'am.
or no contest?
Okay. Okay.
All right. Do you want the information read?
We waive the reading, Your Honor.
Okay. So as I understand, the state is abandoning count 1, which is the DWI,
That is correct, Your Honor, and amending to count 2.
proceeding to count 2 and going forward with obstructing a highway. How do you plead to that?
Guilt.
No contest?
No contest.
And are you pleading freely and voluntarily without anybody having forced you or coerced you in any way to enter your plea of no contest to this charge?
Yes.
Is there anything further on the guilt or innocence?
No, Your Honor.
So if I understand correctly, that if I can pull this up again, I really need to hook up my second screen. Okay. The court is going to defer adjudication. And do you understand what that means, Ms. Rocha?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going to sentence you at this time. I'm going to defer adjudication. And that was for a period of 16 months. Now, this is a wonderful opportunity for you not to have a record until you have the opportunity to clean it up later after you finish your probation. But if you do not comply with your probation, then the state can come back in with a motion and present it to the judge for consideration to have them adjudicate you. And that's not what you want to happen. So make sure that you comply with all the conditions of probation and terminate successfully. So then you can go forward and clean up your record later.
Yes.
All right. So we will impose a $600 fine that's non-probated, 60 hours of community service. Ms. Rocha, are you vaccinated?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So Judge Saldaña provides her defendants an opportunity to work off some of the community service in this fashion. And so I'm going to offer it to you because this is Judge Saldaña's policy. So you can get up to 24 hours credit against your 60 hours of community service, 8 hours for the first vaccination, 8 hours for the second, and 8 hours for the vaccine for the booster. And that's your choice, or you have the 60 hours of community service, but that's a way to take care of 24 hours. All the other conditions of probation are going to be explained to you by your probation officer, and they are on the plea bargain form that you signed off on. So, and all the other general conditions, so, and they include all the programs that we talked about earlier. Is she going to be placed in a room with somebody to go over all of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there anything further?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Not
All
from
right.
the defense, Your Honor.
Well, good luck to you, Ms. Rocha.
Thank you, ma'am.
And please seriously understand that there is a way to get this off your record if you comply with all these conditions.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, may I be excused in the meanwhile?
Yes, sir. Are you going to put her in that conference room?
Yes, I have placed her on breakout room 3. Does council need to be there as well?
I do not.
Okay.
So the plea packet already has Judge Saldaña's name, so I don't know if you need to send me a new one, but I can't sign it because it's got her name inserted.
Your Honor, I think more important is the misdemeanor plea sheet. I think that's what it's labeled as that I sent to you. I think that's how you saw exactly what the plea agreement was, maybe.
It also has her signature on it.
On Adobe Sign it did. I sent it to you and I think it says it's waiting for your signature still. Misdemeanor judge notes, and it says that it's out for signature and is waiting for you to sign.
The ones that,
Those sent today, it says out for signature to Alma Salinas Ender.
okay, so I'm looking at one that was dated February 1st. That
There should
must
be
not-
one for February 3rd, and it's 650-402 Rocha misdemeanor judge notes. I guess
what time did you send that one?
this morning, so maybe 8:30.
You have no idea how many Bear County emails I have. Okay, I know that one is for another defendant.
Or if I could hit remind right now.
Actually, he might be able to read the number to you again, and you could search for that number, and it would pull it up.
The 654.
650.
Oh,
6
654.
650
Oh, okay.
402.
Okay, I signed that document, but I was not able to sign the others.
Okay, so you found the document.
The one was sent to me, the misdemeanor judge notes.
Yes.
Okay, I already signed that one.
Okay. So you found that, and I sent that in all the cases because that's the one that Aleda had asked for. I'm not sure if Aleda needs us to. I don't know how to edit the document, like the plea packet, after Judge Saldaña signed. But
If I could get a copy of that, let me see. I can send it to her by Adobe and put a part where she signs, like either right under Judge Saldaña. And, you know, we'll put some like another deal on Judge Saldaña. You can always put a little mark on it.
Okay.
I could do that.
so I could just email it to you.
I just-
document.
I just sent the email to you, Aleda.
Okay.
Unless you want, I'll just wait to hear back from you.
Yeah, no, I'll look for it, Judge. Okay, so while you take another one, I'm not too sure which case is ready to go on. We have a Mr. Raul Garces, he's in custody, 666-311. Mr. Scott Hill, did you get to meet with your client, and is the paperwork ready?
I did. They weren't able to share the screen with me, but I think it's all done.
What was the number again?
It is 666-311, I believe. Yes.
Is that also going to be a plea?
It will be a plea, and he's an inmate judge. It'll be a judgment satisfied.
That's correct, Your Honor. And that paperwork definitely should have came to you directly. Judge Saldaña did not sign it.
Was that an add-on? Because I don't find it on the docket.
Yes, Your Honor, all of these were add-ons. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It is, yeah. We brought them in from yesterday, so it doesn't go into the docket. So 666-311. And did you still need to talk to your client, Mr. Hill? And we're able to put the share screen if you wish.
So I talked to him and we're good to go.
Okay.
So I just have the misdemeanor judge notes. Is there a plea packet that's been sent as well?
Should have went to you after, let me see.
After the client signs, he should have clicked away and it goes to you, Judge.
Okay,
Yes,
I
so it
got
should
it.
be new, yeah.
So it's Raul Garces, and I noticed he was on earlier. Is he on?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
There you are. Okay. I'm sorry, who is the attorney?
Scott Hill, Judge.
Good afternoon. Okay, Mr. Garces, would you raise your right hand? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Mr. Garces, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself and about the documents you signed, and then we'll take the plea. Is there, if at any time I ask you something that you do not understand, will you let me know?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I can make myself more clear. All right. So did you, how old are you, sir?
Going on 46 in about 19 days.
Almost going to
19
have a
days.
birthday.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, ma'am.
You're a resident of San Antonio?
Yes, ma'am. Born and raised.
Oh, beautiful city.
Yes, ma'am.
Up to what grade did you get in school?
I got my GED and then I got some hours in business management.
Okay. All right. So you were able to read all the documents you signed and you understood them?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have an opportunity to visit with your lawyer when you signed them and talk about the facts and circumstances surrounding your offense and any possible way to defend against the charges?
Yes, ma'am.
And after all of that, did you decide you wanted to accept the plea bargain?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was your decision alone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you did it after you consulted with your attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the services of your attorney?
Very.
You think he did a good job for you?
Yes, ma'am. Very.
No complaints?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so is it your wish to go forward and plead guilty?
No contents.
What is the plea bargain?
Your Honor, the plea agreement is no contest, 15 days of jail, $0 fine, cost, time and money to run concurrent, and we would recommend that this be a judgment satisfied.
Okay, did I understand you say no court costs or court costs?
Court cost.
Okay. All right. And all of that would be satisfied by time served?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, is that what you understand the plea bargain to be, Mr. Garces?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what you understand the plea bargain to be, Mr. Hill?
It is, Your Honor.
You've had an opportunity to confer with your client. Do you feel that he understands the nature of the proceedings, knowing they waived his rights and wishes to go forward?
I have Judge, and I believe he understands that. And we're ready to go forward.
Mr. Garces, you signed a document that you are agreeing to have your plea taken by video conference. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you're charged with the offense of criminal trespass.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's charged as a Class B misdemeanor, carries a range of punishment of up to 180 days in jail and up to a $2,000 fine. How do you plead?
No contest.
Okay, you understand that by signing these documents, you're giving your right up for a jury trial. I'm going to hear the case instead. Is that what you want?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand you're giving up your right to confront witnesses in open court? You
Yes,
never
ma'am.
get to see them. Your lawyer's never going to have an opportunity to cross-examine them. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
You're giving up your right to remain silent. Basically, you're pleading no contest, which I'm going to basically understand is that you're not disagreeing or fighting the charges. You're
Yes, ma'am.
giving up your right to have the state prove up the case against you. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have to ask, are you mentally competent?
Yes, ma'am.
Never had any kind of questions about your mental capabilities?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you understand what you're doing,
Yes, ma'am.
and it's your wish to go forward and continue with your plea of no contest.
Yes, ma'am.
And nobody's forced you or coerced you in any way?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So is there anything further on the guilt or innocence?
No, Your Honor.
Right. So the court, having heard your plea of guilty, finds you guilty of the charge of criminal trespass. Is there anything you'd like to say before I sentence you?
No, ma'am.
In accordance with the plea bargain agreement, the court assesses your punishment at 15 days to serve in the Bexar County Jail, $0 fine. Court costs, all of this to run concurrent, and credit for time served, and the judgment is satisfied with time served. Is there anything further?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Thank
No,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, good luck to you, Mr. Garces.
Thank you, Judge. Good luck. God bless you.
God bless you too.
Thank you.
All right, Your Honor, this is another case that is off docket. That would be 659579. And this is Mr. Gabriel Ramirez. And the counsel is George Manning.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
And I guess we were having a little issue on Mr. Ramirez had the paperwork. Did he get the paperwork after all, Mr. Manning?
He got it, and he said I was able to talk to him about it earlier. So he said he was signing it and it should be sent, but of course, let us know if it was not received on y'all's end.
Okay, so it would have gone directly to the judge after he clicked away at the very end.
All right.
I do have it.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Judge.
Okay, 659579, the state of Texas versus Gabriel Ramirez. Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, where are you?
I'm currently at work.
Okay, and you do have good internet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you get dropped, will you come back in?
Yes.
Okay, because we had that experience that sometimes, people are out there and the internet fails. Raise your
Yeah.
right hand, sir. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ramirez, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself and about the documents you signed, and then I'll take your plea. If at any time I ask you something you do not understand, will you please let me know?
Yes, ma'am.
If at any time you want to stop and speak to your attorney, will you let me know?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How old are you?
24.
Up to what grade did you get in school?
I got my high school diploma.
Where'd you go to high school?
Warren?
Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what are you doing now? Where are you working?
I work for Allied Fire Protection.
What do you do there?
Say that
Do,
again, I didn't
fire
understand.
right, change out sprinklers, pipes.
Excuse me. Can we back up? I did not get where you work. Where are you working? And your response was?
Allied Fire Protection.
And if we could pick up from there, please.
So I do sprinklers. We change out any leaking pipe or stuff like that.
Okay. So, Mr. Ramirez, were you able to read all the documents you signed?
Yes.
And you went over them with your attorney when you signed them?
Yes, ma'am.
And you talked to him about the facts and circumstances surrounding your arrest and any possible way to defend against the charges.
Yes, ma'am.
And after all of that, you decided to accept the plea bargain that was offered to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was your decision alone?
Yes.
But you did it after you consulted with your attorney?
Yes.
And are you satisfied with the services of Mr. Manning?
Yes, ma'am.
You think he did a good job for you?
Very.
No complaints?
No complaints.
Mr. Manning, you've spoken with your client who fully understands the nature of the proceedings, knowingly waived his rights and wishes to go forward?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, so as I see that he's going to plead no contest to a driving while intoxicated, DWI first. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge, the state did amend the information to waive the 0.15 enhancement to proceed on just a DWI first.
And what is the plea bargain? Let's see.
Your Honor, that would be a $600 fine with court costs, 12 months deferred adjudication, the DWI education course, victim impact panel, a TAP evaluation, ignition interlock for half the term, and 45 hours of community service. And I do believe the defendant has completed two of the classes and will be providing probation that documentation.
Okay. Is that what you understand the plea bargain to be, Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Manning?
Yes, Your Honor. For the record, he's completed DWI education and victim impact panel.
So you signed several documents giving up many rights, Mr. Ramirez?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
understand you gave up your right to have a jury trial? I'm going to hear the case instead. Is that what you want?
Yes, ma'am.
You're giving up your right to confront witnesses and have your attorney cross-examine them before a jury or the judge. Is that what you want?
Yes, ma'am.
You've given up your right to remain silent. And even though you're going to plead no contest, basically, I'm going to consider that an admission. So you understand that you're giving up that right. Is that what you want?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Has anybody ever questioned whether or not you're mentally competent?
No.
So you understand what you're doing?
Yes.
And you want to go forward and you're doing so freely and voluntarily. Nobody's threatened or coerced you in any way.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are a citizen of the United States.
Yes.
All right. So do you want the information read aloud?
Oh, we
Yes,
can
ma'am.
waive that, Your Honor.
So you understand what you're charged with, driving while intoxication. They've waived the enhancement, so it's a DWI first, carrying a range of punishment of $0 to a $2,000 fine, and from 72 hours to 180 days in jail.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead?
No contest.
And are you pleading that way because, well, nobody's forced you or coerced you in any way to enter your plea of no contest?
Sure.
So are you freely and voluntarily doing that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The court is going to follow the recommendations in the plea bargain. We are going to defer your adjudication of guilt at this time. Place you on probation for a period of 12 months, impose a $600 fine, court costs. And all of the programs that were recited and are in your plea bargain agreement, as well as the general conditions of probation, will be required. You'll have the ignition interlock system on for 1/2 of the term, 45 hours of community service, credit for the classes that you've already taken. The Judge Saldaña has a policy that she will give up to 24 hours of credit against your community service if you're vaccinated. Are you vaccinated?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, it's your choice. If you, for the first vaccination, you get 8 hours, the second vaccination, another 8 hours, and the booster, another 8 hours. So that would take care of 24 hours of the community service, basically more than half of what you're being required to do. That is your choice. Otherwise, you'll be required to complete the 45 hours of community service. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Because you have deferred adjudication, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to complete your probation successfully and then apply to have your record wiped off, cleaned up. So it's up to you. I mean, if you do not comply with this, then the state has the opportunity to come back and file a motion to adjudicate you. That is to go ahead and have you sentenced and have that on your record. So it's very, I point this out to you because sometimes people don't quite understand what a wonderful opportunity you're being given here, not to have a record, and also how important it is that you follow all the conditions of probation and not take it lightly, because you could possibly come back and have the adjudication proceeding. And in addition to that, not have the opportunity to clean it off your record. So it's a wonderful opportunity, and I hope you take advantage of it and take your probationary requirements seriously. Did you understand that, Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we didn't lose connection. All right, so is he going to be placed in a room with a probation officer to be processed?
Yes, Your Honor, right away.
Okay, so then hold on, Mr. Ramirez, you're not done. I'm done with you for right now, but you're going to go in and get your brief orientation and sign any documents you need to sign.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Manning, do you have any other matters before the court?
I don't today, Judge. Thank you so much. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, Your Honor. So I believe that is all for the pleas. I do have a gentleman here, Mr. Daniel Rodriguez, that would like to approach regarding a couple of bonds to be set. I did send you the motions by your email and also by Adobe to see if you want to go ahead and hear him out and then consider them.
Thank you, Lida. That is correct, Your Honor. Were you able to see me?
Yes, hold on 1 second. Let's see, what are those cause numbers so I can see if I can pull them up?
677480 and 677139.
Okay, I have them.
And I have conferred with Jeffrey King on these matters. He is the ADA present today on Zoom. And he has agreed to a surety amount in the amount of $1,000 on each case.
As well as a no contact
Right.
order.
With- Go on.
No contact with the co-defendants, Francisco Martinez and Ruben Camacho, or with the victims, Pedro Contreras or Adrian Torres. And we would ask that he take anger management or counseling, either or, during pretrial
That's
So,
correct, yeah.
or
All
pending
I
release.
have, all I have before me is very simple orders without those special conditions that you've agreed to.
Correct. That was my proposed order when I initially filed the motion. And then after conferring with Jeffrey, these other conditions were added on that I agreed to. He should not have contact with victims or co-defendants. And also the anger management during pretrial is fine.
So are you going to send me an amended order for me to sign?
I can, Your Honor. I can email it to you. Do you have an email that I can send it to? Or
Yes,
do you want me to
but
send it to Elida?
well, that would be preferable, or if we can do a private chat with the email. So because I think this is being recorded and
Oh,
telecast.
that's correct. That's correct.
So-
Okay. What
And
I can
Your
do
Honor,
is I can.
If
Go
he
on.
can, he can send it to me and I'll be happy to send it to you
Okay.
by Adobe. If you
So
wish.
I'll e-file new proposed orders on those, Your Honor, and I will email the file stamp copies to Elida.
Okay, perfectly.
All right.
Perfect. And as soon as I get them, I will sign them.
Okay. May I log off in order to do that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have anything else?
Well, Your Honor, I do have a gentleman that said that he wanted to approach, and I sent him. Sorry, my dog was going. Joseph Strickland, he wanted to approach. I sent him the Zoom link, but if he doesn't come within the next couple of minutes, we can always bring him in next week.
Okay. Do you have any idea what he wants to approach on?
Now, let me see. Let's see what he says
I think it's
here.
a motion to modify bond conditions, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah. So have you conferred with him, Ms. Corina Sanchez?
No, Judge, no, Alita, I just received all that information this afternoon.
Okay.
I haven't had an opportunity to review it.
Oh, okay. So it would be up to you, Judge, if you want to wait, or, I did send them the
I don't
invite.
mind. I don't mind waiting if you want. Did you want to wait a few more minutes?
Well, I would, because right now, as it is, I'm working on that Adobe deal so that I can send it to you for the so that you can sign over the judge's signature on Emily Rocha. That's what I'm working on right now.
Okay, I'll be here. I'm just going to mute myself and stop the video, but I'm right here.